You have been studying Claude documentation for weeks, practicing API calls, but still feel unprepared for the architect exam. That's because most candidates approach it wrong. They focus on memorization instead of strategy. Today, I am revealing the exact step-by-step approach I used to pass on my first attempt, saving you months of trial and error. Master this single, counterintuitive strategy most architects fatally overlook. The key insight is they have designed the entire test to challenge your judgment, not your recall. You are not just selecting answers, you are defending an architectural stance under pressure. What this means is that every question simulates a real-world trade-off, forcing you to prioritize competing constraints in real time. Your logic must be airtight. The exam isn't testing a manual, it is testing a mindset. You must think like a principal architect defending a multimillion-dollar project plan to a skeptical board. The correct choice is often the one that balances long-term strategic vision with immediate, deliverable business value. Your internal justification for every single selection must be bulletproof. What this means is moving from tactical code to strategic systems. You are not just connecting components, you are designing resilient, scalable solutions that align with business objectives years down the line. Your focus shifts to future-proofing, total cost of ownership, and managing complex trade-offs. That architect's mindset is your single most powerful tool for the entire exam. Forget everything you know about passing the Claude exam. Every single candidate is focusing on features. Stop. The exam tests conceptual strategy, not rote memorization. Your first priority must be to understand why these patterns work at a system level, not just how to use them. Internalize the strategic principles behind prompt design and cost architecture. This conceptual shift is non-negotiable for success. Pillar 2 separates high scores from failures. You will face complex scenarios with multiple valid solutions. The exam demands you identify the strategic trade-offs. Why choose one architectural pattern over another? You must defend your choice based on cost, latency, and reliability, not just functionality. Master this decision-making framework. It is the core of the architect role. How sharp are your elimination skills under pressure? Every moment counts. The key insight is to immediately discard options that do not address the core business constraint, whether it is budget, speed, or resilience. What this means is you are not just answering questions, you are systematically defending a strategic choice, which is the true architect skill the exam evaluates. Forget everything you have heard about cramming for this exam. Picture these 2 weeks as your boot camp. You are not just memorizing facts, you are wiring your brain for how Claude actually thinks. Master system prompts, and you control the conversation. Understand message structure, and you guide its reasoning. Get token management right, and you unlock efficiency. This foundation turns abstract concepts into your operational toolkit. Now, we shift from controlling the conversation to directing its intelligence. This is where many candidates overcomplicate patterns. Forget intricate prompting gimmicks. Focus on the core strategy, structuring prompts to force sequential reasoning, providing precise examples, and seamlessly blending external tools. This trains you to architect solutions, not just write requests. This final phase is where your confidence becomes your weapon. Simulating the actual exam pressure exposes hidden weaknesses and trains your strategic timing. You are not just testing knowledge, you are conditioning your mind to execute the proven architecture patterns under real constraints, transforming theoretical understanding into unshakable, exam-ready instinct. Master the exam by ignoring half the study materials everyone else wastes time on. Now, phase 2 is your power move. For the next 45 minutes, you will not simply review. You attack those flagged questions with fresh eyes, making strategic decisions. You either solve them now or accept the uncertainty and commit to an answer. Indecision is your enemy here. Decisive action is how you reclaim time for the final crucial pass. This is your critical pivot. That fresh perspective. Apply systematic elimination, discarding definitively wrong options first. What remains often reveals the true intent. Hesitation now is costly. You must choose to either solve it conclusively with this new lens or make your best strategic guess and move on. This phase demands disciplined, decisive judgment. Phase 3 is your precision audit. Methodically revisit each answer not for content, but for its core logic. Does it align with Amazon's architectural principles? You are stress testing every decision for fundamental soundness, hunting for hidden assumptions or contradictions. This isn't rereading, it is a high-stakes verification to lock in your certifiable logic. Phase 4 is your transformation from candidate to architect. Do not just scan your answers. You are now the final reviewer, cross-examining every response against the client's core business objectives. This is your last line of defense. You are ensuring the solution you have built on the page is not just technically correct, but demonstrably delivers real-world value. Forget long study plans. This single flawed approach fails 80% of aspirants. You are judged on solving the problem, not building a monument. The exam wants clarity. When you add complexity, you introduce risk, more points to fail. What this means is elegance beats cleverness every time. The key insight is to trust the fundamentals. Architect for purpose, not prestige. The simplest path to a working solution is your highest score. Missing hidden requirements is like failing to read the small print on a treasure map. The scenario's explicit instructions are the bold landmarks, but the true path is in the quiet details. What this means is that buried within the narrative are critical constraints on resources, boundaries, or integrations. The pattern clearly indicates that overlooking these turns a correct plan into a failed one. Time mismanagement is the silent killer of exam performance. You must strategically command the clock, not surrender to it. The insight is that complex scenario questions demand and deserve more of your minutes. What this means is you cannot afford to be democratic with your time. Prioritize ruthlessly, or you will leave your most valuable points unscored on the table. Forget everything you have been told about certification exams. Think your exam is over? That's the first trap. The moment you step out, your recall is sharpest. Jot down every tricky question now. This isn't just note-taking, it is building intelligence for your next attempt. Treat those questions like clues to a code you have almost cracked. That documented review is your secret weapon. Your raw experience is now your greatest asset. Analyze every uncertainty you faced. Each one directly exposes a conceptual blind spot. This is your personalized blueprint for mastery. The pattern clearly indicates that true learning begins when you systematically convert these gaps into targeted study objectives for your next attempt. Now, take those concepts and immediately build something tangible. The key insight is this: theoretical knowledge solidifies only through application. Choose one uncertain area, prompt engineering, system design, workflow integration, and implement a real project around it. What this means is transforming abstract exam pressure into concrete, lasting skill. This is how you architect true expertise. Success requires strategic preparation focused on architectural thinking, not just technical knowledge. The 4-phase exam approach maximizes your performance under time pressure. Continuous scenario practice is more valuable than passive documentation review. Start applying this strategy to your next practice session and notice the difference in your confidence and approach.